Hey guys, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense. Welcome friends. Today I'm going to talk to you about my top 10 winter fragrances. Now I know I'm a little bit late in the game. I've been traveling because of the holidays. I'm still not home, so I don't have all my bottles in front of me. That's a little disappointing because there's nothing better than holding up the weight of a bottle in front of a camera, but I am traveling. I did bring a few of them, so I'm going to feature a few of the fragrances that I have with me. The rest I'm just going to show a ding of the bottle itself. Now, one thing that you'll notice about my top 10 designer winter fragrances is that I'm focusing on primarily two things. Of course, quality, which is supremely important, and then accessibility. When I say accessibility, what I'm really talking about is money. To me, the real true value in a fragrance is kind of a counterweight. It's balanced out between the quality and the style and the substance, right? The quality and the value and how much it costs. Because I don't know about you, but especially after the holidays, I don't want to go in hock or get in credit card debt just to get a few nice winter fragrances to have in my fragrance rotation. And I know you don't want to do that either. So that's why I've made this list primarily, is to go over what I've already had a jump start in wearing in this past couple of months, November, December, what I've been really enjoying wearing, and what I hope that you too can enjoy without breaking the bank, without a bunch of moths flying out of your wallet when you go to buy your next grocery list. So let's get right into it. Top 10 designer winter fragrances that are accessible. One thing you'll notice all these fragrances have in common is that they all have a predilection towards being resin-based, more incense, a little bit darker, richer, and gourmand. Gourmand means something that's kind of a little bit on the sweet side, and that typically features like a roasted coffee or a toffee, a caramel, a tobacco, leather, something that's like a little bit deeper, a little bit more complex. And something specifically that needs time to air out, that's more aromatic, that needs to really, that kind of comes into its own during the dry down primarily. You got the bergamot, you got the citrusy, the fruits that are typically top notes because they dry off really fast and they give way to the mid notes and the dry down. More of a winter resinous, incense-based, amber-based, oud-based fragrances that are very comfy and cozy in cold weather, wintertime, that really come into their own or find their legs, as it were, in winter. All right, let's get right into it. Coming in at number 10 is Boss Bottled the Scent Private Accord. Private Accord is a really nice flanker to the scent, is a great addition. It is a woody oriental fragrance that came out in August of 2018, so it's not really old yet. It's not been out for a super long time. So it's one of the young guys out there, so we want to give it a little bit of love, a little bit of notice. That's why it's coming in at number 10. I think Hugo Boss is a great fragrance house. As any of you that have watched my channel knows, I feature it many times, and I really do like the scent Private Accord. Featuring notes such as maninka fruit, ginger, mocha, sitting on a base of woody, earthy notes, including patchouli and cacao, that kind of give it that nice, well-rounded Boss DNA. Though it's sufficiently versatile to be worn year-round, it shows its best face during winter. And as with most gourmand fragrances, winter fragrances, it has really good projection and longevity. How much is Boss Bottled the Scent Private Accord going to cost you? This right here. So as you can see, you're not going to break the bank. Coming in at number 9 is Dolce Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum, the EDP, not the EDT. It's the darker bottle, the one that I'm going to show you right here. Right, you notice the difference? This is the lighter, this is the darker. Not to be confused with Intenso, right? The one Intenso, or the one Baroque, or the one the Collector's Edition. There are quite a few The Ones. Have you noticed that? It should be called Dolce & Gabbana The Mini instead. What's great about the one, it is number one, it's eau de parfum, so it gives you the intensity of an intense, even though it is not called, some people call it the one intense, but it is not, it's called the one EDP. Because the eau de toilette and the eau de parfum are very different fragrances. They smell very different, so don't get them confused. So first of all, I'll address this first because I usually address it last, and that is the projection and the longevity. Okay, because it's a little disappointing in the one, right? You've got this great smelling fragrance, but it doesn't last super long. It becomes a skin scent pretty quickly. The eau de parfum is light years beyond that. It reacts as an eau de parfum should. It lasts a long time on your skin, and it gives you a nice 2 to 3 foot projection for several hours. So it is very enjoyable. The eau de parfum version of the one came out about 8 years after the eau de toilette version of the one, which I think it was 2015 when the EDP came out, featuring notes like grapefruit, ginger, cardamom, tobacco. The one has a really delightfully fruity opening, like that fruitaceous opening, if that's a word, I'm gonna make it up now, fruitaceous opening. And then it dries down into a little more complex, deeply winter fragrance. And what I mean by deeply winter fragrance, and that it really vibes on that tobacco note. That tobacco note goes so far in the one EDP, dries down into a warm, gooey tobacco that makes you think of hot leather and chocolate. It just has that nice, really gourmand without that super sweet sensation. And it puts one in mind of other tobacco-based fragrances that I'll also bring up in this list as well. So it's a great combination of yummy smells and all-around great winter fragrance coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 on my list is, yes, Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Lucky. I know 1 Million has made lists for a very long time. It is a super, almost compromised DNA. So many things smell like it these days. It's older, it's out there, it's well worn. But I mean, Lucky hasn't been around a super long time. It's been around since 2018. I mean, it came out this last year, or okay, I'm gonna have to say year before last now that it's 2020, just in early 2020. So it came out in 2018. Primarily the reason I like 1 Million Lucky by Paco Rabanne is that it's got a nice rich hazelnut contrasted by that plum note. So you got hazelnut and plum creating a nice little juxtaposition or contrast and mix there. And it really makes your nose kind of wake up in a way that none of these others on my list do. Features many awesome notes. Just to name a few, you've got honey, you've got vetiver, those are supporting roles. It earns a well-deserved spot in my winter rotation. 1 Million Lucky is very similar to Emporio Armani's Stronger With You in that it will turn heads and you will get compliments. And this is probably gonna raise a few eyebrows. Pulling in at number 7 is Angel for Men by Terry Mugler. Angel for Men is just such a versatile fragrance. Yes, it is versatile enough to be worn year-round, but I think it's a really great winter fragrance simply because of the gourmand. It's got several notes in it that lend itself towards a more winter, warm, yet still somehow finds its way into the seductive and alluring masculine sensation and vibe as well. I guess the reason that it made in my number 7 of winter fragrances is just how often that I reach for this. I have it here, of course. I brought it with me on my trip, and I have used this so many times. It's an easy grab. The bottle is refillable. I think you can buy, in fact, I know that you can purchase the refill for the bottle, which is 100 ml, for less than 40 bucks. In fact, right here is the price. Now that's the price of the refill. If you want to get the bottle itself, the rubber bottle, or there's a platinum one, I believe, a steel one, it's a little bit more, like 43 bucks, something like that, but you can't beat it. It's a fantastic gourmand fragrance. It's got really good projection, really good longevity. It features fruity notes, spicy notes. There's almost everything in the mix in here. What I really like about it is that it is definitely canted on the gourmand side because it has that creamy caramel note. It's got a really nice honey and creamy caramel note, buffered by tonka, sandalwood, some musky earthiness, and a little bit of patchouli that makes out that well-rounded, almost like roasted coffee smell or sensation or vibe when I wear this. This fragrance gets me all kinds of compliments. I was actually sending a package to a friend for the holidays, and the lady behind the counter, and this was just a padded envelope, she lifted the padded envelope and started smelling it. Is that this package? I'm like, no, that's actually me. It's and I told her it was Angel for Men by Terry Mugler. And she was like, I really like that. It smells yummy. Her words, not mine. It smells yummy. And it really does. And that's what makes it such an easy reach and why it's number 7 on my top winter fragrances for 2019. Pulling in at number 6 is Prada Black Luna Rossa. Luna Rossa makes you feel like you're getting ready to dress up. It's what I call the best dressed winter fragrance out there. It just makes you feel elegant, like you're getting ready to go into a formal gala or something. Now, Luna Rossa literally means red moon. It is back in 2000, it was the sailboat race, the syndicate for racing for the America's Cup. It was actually called the Prada race at one time, I believe, because they were sponsoring it. At any rate, Has nothing to do with sailing. I mean, you would think that it's a nice, like a summertime fragrance because of the sport of sailing, a sailboat, but somehow it's made it into my winter category because I really like the richness, the dark, rich vibe that comes from wearing Prada Black Luna Rossa. This fragrance certainly turns heads because it combines the bright, fruity aroma of bergamot with that grounding, earthy core of angelica, sitting on a base of amber, coumarin, and musk. It's anchored by a simple yet rich and complex dry down, yielding an elegant yet masculine projection and longevity. It's great for colder weather gatherings and get-togethers where you need something to sustain you for a few hours, but it's not going to give you that full 8 to 10 hours that you would expect out of a winter fragrance. It just doesn't have it in it to do that, but that's okay. Sometimes you don't want something to last all day long. Sometimes you're not looking for a survivalist fragrance out there. Prada Black Luna Rossa is not going to be one of those, but it does what it does really well, and it does last you for a good while, long enough to get through that family reunion or that Christmas gathering or that Yuletide logs by the fire, whatever you want to name your gathering there. Making it into my top 5 just because it's such a dark horse and probably unexpected fragrance to be on my top 10 winter list is Jesus Del Pozo's Halloween Man X. Yes, I brought this one with me. I brought about 4 fragrances with me that are actually making it into the list, and this is one of them. One of the things I really love about this is when the nose that was creating this, what they wanted to do is kind of create something that would highlight the urban nightlife, right? And so it has a mineralic, mineral, or what's called a concrete note in this, and it really pulls it off, and it pulls it off really well. How, I don't know, but it makes you feel like you've walked into a brand new coffee house made of brick, right, and mortar, because you got this kind of a brick and mortar sense out of this, but then you also have that roasted coffee and that chocolate, rich chocolate. It actually carries this off very well. It lasts for a long time. It actually kind of puts me in mind a little bit of Angel for Men. Kind of very similar vibe these two have. But I like the fact that Halloween X is a dark horse and not everyone is rocking it out this winter. But I highly recommend it. Super inexpensive. I'll put the price right here. As you can see, super inexpensive. You're not going to break the bank. This is a 100 ml bottle and it lasts really well. It's sitting on a base of tonka, amber, and incense. It pulls out almost the best fragrance winter trifecta of notes. The amber, tonka, and incense blend together, and that's why I love Halloween Man X as one of my top winter fragrances, coming in at number 5. Those of you who have been following my channel from the very beginning know how much I like this fragrance, and those of you who don't, I'll put a link here so you can check out my first impressions, and that is of course 24 Gold by Scent Story. Scent Story, like scent and story, combined together to make Scent Story. 24 Gold is awesome. It is an oud-based fragrance, but it's not the kind of oud that is animalic or challenging. It's more like Oud for Greatness. If you've ever heard Oud for Greatness, it's very, very similar in that it makes it extremely easy on the palate. It comes right in there as kind of an underdog. This fragrance has been increasing in popularity because there's a lot of 24 fragrances out there, only one 24 Gold. I literally have all of them, the samples that they were nice enough to send me, all of them. So very shortly I will have a video and upload a video where I go over each one of them. But still standing out on the forefront of all of them, 24 Gold takes oud in a direction that you don't expect. I've never been one for kind of the animalic or fecal oud. It's just too strong or too challenging. This is not at all like that. It's very gourmand, very honeyed, marketed as unisex, so it smells good on women as it does men. If you're not a fan of semi-floral sweet fragrances, this is probably not something that's going to be falling on your radar. I highly recommend though that you give it a try, give it a shot, get a sample of it, try it out. I think you'll really, really like it. It's featuring a lot of woody notes because it is a woody oriental fragrance. You've got guaiac wood. Instead of woods that typically are on the base, this has a top and mid of guaiac wood, cedar, sandalwood, sitting on a base of ylang ylang, vanilla, and amber. So it's kind of a neat blend, neat combination. And some of the first things that you do smell about this are the woods, and then right coming in through the middle are the well-blended, the oud mixing with the sweeter, fragrant, and semi-floral ylang ylang with the amber, and the vanilla making it the gourmand sweet fragrance that it is. Excellent, excellent winter fragrance. highly recommend giving a shot if you've never tried an oud-based fragrance. This is going to be the one to get you started. Making it into my top 3 is Bentley For Men Intense. Now, Bentley For Men Intense is a fantastic, very rich, very luxuriant, very opulent fragrance. It does make you think of sitting in your favorite sports car, let's say the Bentley Continental GT, and you're traveling down the road sitting in rich, warm leather seats that are putting in that new car smell along with the leather, and you've got a bottle of rum sitting next to you. It's not been opened, officer, I promise. But it's sitting there next to you, and some of it spills out onto the leather seat, and you're like, oh, holy crap, and you roll down the window, and all of a sudden the air makes all those mix together, and you're smelling a nice, boozy leather. I mean, once you get your nose on this, it's really hard to pull your nose out of it. Now, there is a thread on Fragrantica and probably on base notes comparing this to Gucci Pour Homme. It does smell similar to the original Gucci Pour Homme. Do I prefer it to it? I can't answer that. I don't really know. I've not put my nose on the original. I have smelled I guess the second version of it, not the original. The original Gucci Pour Homme is super expensive. So in my estimation, this is going to be your best bet because of the accessibility. Again, it's a lot cheaper, and you can get your hands on this for under 40 bucks. And it smells so good. It does have great projection. I find that when I'm wearing this, and I do reach for this quite frequently, that I can smell it a lot. Like if I'm moving in a hallway and I turn around, I'll catch a whiff of it and I'm like, wow, that's really nice. It's a great compliment pulling, head turning fragrance. I guarantee that you will get a lot of wear out of this, a lot of pull out of it. Bentley For Men Intense, coming in at my number 3. Coming in at my number 2 spot is a flanker of Angel For Men. It is Angel For Men Pure Havane. I can't resist a tobacco-based fragrance that also has cherry in it, right? Cherry, tobacco, honey. It really smells like a gourmand caramel feast without being super sweet. See, I like that semi-sweet. Too sweet to me is just too much. One thing I really like about Pure Havane is it reminds me very much of a niche fragrance that I love, and that is Xerjoff's Naxos 1861 or 1861 Naxos. It's really good. It has a fantastic fruitiness about it. Once that dissipates, then you're left with that really nice leather and tobacco combination. And in this case, the cherry kind of mixes it all together and keeps it gourmand without being overdone. So Angel For Men Pure Havane in my number 2 spot. It does feature additional notes. I'm not going to go into those because really the only ones that matter to me are the ones that are left in the dry down that you're left with. Is that cherry tobacco caramel feeling or sensation. You should give it a try. It's really, Mugler outdid himself with this one. Now also I've heard that Pure Malt and Pure Leather are really good, and Crypto Mint, those are ones I don't own. I can't speak to those. Maybe they would sit in this spot if I did own them, but Pure Havane's gonna have to do it for now. All right, guys, we've come all the way down to my number 1 spot, and I'm gonna have to say it is Viktor and Rolf Spice Bomb Extreme. It is one of my absolute all-time favorite wintertime fragrances. And what I love about it, it's almost like base notes got together, created a mutiny and said, we're tired of the hierarchical tradition of having top, mid, and base. We're tired of being stuck on the bottom. We're gonna get rid of the top and the mid, and we're just gonna go base. And we'll see if it works or not. And out came Spice Bomb Extreme. And it truly does work. It's a fantastic fragrance. It features few notes. So you've got caraway, black pepper, which gives it that warmth, and then you've got lavender, tobacco, and vanilla. So you've got the gourmand plus the richer, more complex fragrances. It feels like it has so much more. That's what I love about it. It kind of plays with your sense of smell. It's easy to go anosmic on this. You gotta be very careful about how much you spray on yourself, but if you do it just right, 2 or 3 sprays at the most, you're gonna carry around a feeling of it like you just feel like a note potpourri. You feel like you're carrying so many more notes than what you actually are. And that's one of the biggest, most impressive things about Spice Bomb Extreme. Now, because it is number 1 on my list, it is also a little bit more expensive than anything else in this list. So unfortunately, you're gonna pay a little bit more, you're gonna pay a little bit over 100 bucks. Even at discounted retailers, the price here on fragrancenet.com and a lot of locations, because it is so popular, are out of it right now. So my suggestion, go to Sephora, get yourself a little decant for free, try it out. I think you'll really like it. It does take getting some used to. Some people find it challenging because it is so strong. As such, it has excellent longevity. excellent projection. There's just not enough that I can say about Spice Bomb Extreme. Of course, it is a flanker to the original Spice Bomb. Spice Bomb's great. If that's all you have, awesome. I love the Extreme just because it's a little bit more intense, a little bit darker, more richer, lasts a little bit longer. So there you have it, guys. Thanks so much for coming along. We'll be doing more lists in the future, so keep your eye on the prize, keep your finger on the bell, subscribe, like, and comment if you haven't already. My name is Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.